Hey, welcome everybody to the State of the Black Man's Mental Health. I am Paige Benjamin, and this show is brought to you by Get My Cheese Back on My Cracker Foundation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, click that notification bell so you guys know when new episodes drop. And today is all about the father figure, the role of the father figure in our lives. How does it have an impact on our mental health? How does it impact how we raise our children for the future? And what layers are really there in the sense of who can be the father figure? And in this episode, I have some amazing guests that will hop on shortly to introduce themselves. And we're going to just get right into the conversation. But first, I'm introducing you guys to my co-host, the great, amazing Copeland. Copeland, tell them who you are once again and tell them what you do.
I'm Copeland, and I'd be great.
Oh, you'd be great.
Yes.
And you are a father, correct?
Yeah, one of those two.
So happy early Father's Day.
When is that?
I believe it's tomorrow.
That sucks.
Hey, it is what it is, bro. All right, I'm gonna bring on the amazing Trilla King Treasures. What's good, Trilla?
What's up, bro?
So
I'm Trilla.
tell the people who you are and what you do, sir.
So I'm Trilla, OGI Trilla. That's original generation influence. That's my artist name. I'm a hip hop / R&B / soul artist. I also make jewelry, handmade crystal and gemstone jewelry. We have a company called King's Treasure. Got a physical location in Charlotte, North Carolina. We sell a lot of jewelry online and stuff too through Etsy. I just educate people on spirituality, the crystals and minerals and gems from the earth and how we connected to the earth and nature, and the different ways we can heal using nature.
Wait. Time out. Hold on. Me and this guy spoke before.
Yes, you have. Don't worry about it. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. See, the world is small. Let me do my job, bro. Let me do my job. Right? All right. And we're gonna bring on this young man right here. I've seen him grow into the amazing father that he is. One of the things that we like to say that it does take a village, and let's just say this man leverages village as much as he can, but just seeing the progress and the ability for him to be such an outstanding young man, I wanted to give him his flowers so he knows this in person. So my brother, can you tell us who you are, what you do?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, y'all should have introduced me first, because why you got me following that? I don't.
Yeah, I ain't had nothing to do.
Wait, hold on.
I know
this
this
and that.
Apologize too for the pressure, bro.
I'm like,
Listen. Trilla tends to flex on us from time to time, but he's regular just like you and I.
I'm very regular, bro.
Why would you do that to me, Paige? Like, you could have gave me, like, I could have went first. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, boys, like, super dope.
Appreciate
Like, I'm like, okay, damn. All right, but
yeah,
listen,
I don't even tell people what I do. My shit's mad boring. It don't inspire
Yo.
type of excitement. So,
bro. If y'all knew the stress, this shit, like
I'm here for it. I love it.
All right, let's get the introductions out the way. So,
all right,
so Ty?
Yeah. I'm Tyrese Barker. I live in Philadelphia. I'm a newly business owner. I just started my own carpet cleaning business. I am a father of one, a beautiful young lady named Journey. I like to joke around and say I'm the co-parenting specialist because I've got lucky and got put into a situation that works so well, and we kind of make it work. And it's, I haven't had much trouble in that area. So, other than that, everything is good on my end. I'm sorry if, I don't make any jewelry,
and so let's kind of head this on, take this on head first, right? The title of this episode is called The Role of the Father Figure. What role did your fathers have in your life? And do you feel like that had an impact on who the person you are today? And anybody can answer that.
I'll go first because I don't know what he's about to say, and I don't feel like following him again. So my my father, like if you ever sit down and talk to me, I'll tell you, like my father isn't my, biological father. My biological father is, I believe, is like locked up somewhere. Um, my father now married my mother before I was even born. So I don't know how she swindled that, but she did a good job because I love my father with all my heart, and like I wouldn't be probably a third of the man I am today. I wouldn't be as successful as I am today. Um, I and I'll tell my mom this, and I tell her, very often. I thank her because I know my dad wasn't the best husband, but I believe she put up with what she put up for me because she understood the role of a father and me being a young black male in society and the importance of that. So like, my first year of college, they got a divorce. And like she would always joke and say, like, once you turn 18 and you go away to college, we get a divorce. But me growing up in high school, I'm thinking they joking, and like it came to fruition, like it happened, and I'm just like, and now that I'm 35, and I would say between 30 and 35, like everything started to hit me, like, yo, she really put up with the BS for me, and like me understanding the importance of a father, like I get it, because like, yo, I think I'm a pretty dope dude, I think I'm a great father, but like my whole father philosophy and everything I learned about being a father, I learned from my father. You know what I mean? So if he wasn't there, I wouldn't have anything to go off of. You know what I mean?
So
So
can I
I,
ask
I
you a
thank her
question
and I thank him.
before you move on real quick? I want to. So, what do you think, if any, is there really a correlation between being a good father and a good husband?
Mm.
There, I'm not sure if there's going to be a correlation at all, but I can honestly say they're two separate things.
Okay.
Like they're that is two separate relationships. One is with your spouse and one is with your kids. Like you can be a great father and a terrible husband, and you can be a, a great husband and a terrible father. Like, you know what I mean? It's all on who you are. And like me going through therapy and like understanding these things, I know a lot of this is all tied to your childhood and what you grew up seeing. You know what I mean? So I don't think I just think they're separate, you know, relationships. And there's hopefully there's a correlation that a lot of us black men are both great husbands and fathers. You know what I mean? But I just know that they're two separate relationships, and you can't necessarily compare them. And I think a lot of women, get stuck on being a great husband. They hope, or a partner, and they hope that translates into being a great father. And a lot of time it doesn't. So
Now, let me just. I know we're a lot further along than I would have expected, but
My bad. Did I jump the gun?
it's all good. It's all good. This is a great conversation, right? But I mean, this
right,
does have it does play a role in it, right? Because I'm newly
right,
married. As a husband, I've realized, and just to kind of take it a couple of steps back, like, we're gonna let you tap in, Trilla, but give me a second. Like, I grew up with my dad in my household till I was about 5, and then my dad
mhm,
and my mom got divorced, and my dad was always still in my life, taking care of some of the things, right? My mom did a pretty decent job, not always bashing him. I'm not saying never bashing him, but not always bashing him, and keeping him into my life because one of the things that I realized is that as a kid, I learned early on what traits to pick up and what traits not to pick up. I had a lot of male figures in my life. Um, you know, I will honestly say I had multiple father figures, right? Like I had the older cousin that would teaching me how to like drink, how to hold my liquor, how to act around women. I had my dad, my biological dad, who, kind of enforced the importance of family, right? But his vices kind of prevented him from really executing that. And so for me, um, the role of the father figure is kind of skewed in a sense where it's not just the biological or the person my mom married. It's a combination of folks that led to what are today now my core values of who I want to be. I actually had to learn the hard way of the things that I don't want to do are the things that I've seen other people struggling in, especially other men struggling in. And a lot of the times it's the relationships I didn't want to have were the ones I saw failing. And so as a husband, as since we got to that point, as a husband, one of the things that I really want to focus on are not repeating the mistakes of my past or inheriting the mistakes of my father and his father before him. And so, that's kind of a direction that I want to kind of start talking about is, do we inherit some of these traits, right, from our parents, or do we find ways to break those barriers? But Trilla, I'm gonna have you kind of talk on the role of your father and or the father figure in your life that had an impact to the person that you are today.
Okay, I apologize to my phone overheated. I was trying to be in my element.
That southern heat just does its thing sometimes.
That's Sirski. So yeah, my pops he wasn't there. So I learned a lot from absence. Like I feel like at this point in life, my level of understanding is like, all right, I feel like we go through what they went through. So what our parents went through. So I went through the same stuff that he went through without knowing. I didn't even have him to tell me, hey bro, I went through this. I went through this. We talked about it when I spoke with him recently. Gratefully, I'm still open to communicate with him. You know what I'm saying? But I never knew that, I was a womanizer or I dealt with multiple women because he always dealt with multiple women. And I almost lost a great woman because of the same shit. He lost my mom. So we recently just came together at my mom's homegoing. She just, she transitioned in March. And we come together and we talking about things, and I'm watching his expressions. I could tell that he was hurt because he wish he would have, did his thing and did right by her or whatever the case may be. But gratefully I had my uncle Mickey. He was like my dad. He taught me all the stuff, how to string a weed eater, how to really be a man. He introduced me to basketball. Basketball kept me sane. It kept me from, tripping out because I dealt with anger and a lot of issues and stuff. But yeah, bro. Pops wasn't there, to say the least, but the idea that I have about fathership, and like you said, it being a tribal effort is very important, because every male in your life, is like a father to you. Like you said, in certain cultures and African spirituality, they teach you that all of the people in the tribe, everybody that's related to you, all the males in your family, you will be allowed to go with them. So you could pick whoever you want to be with and spend time with, and you master whatever that they know, and it makes you a better man. You feel what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I did. I was able to study, wherever and whoever I wanted to. I wasn't exposed to a lot because most of the people around me were doing the same things. Even like down to my uncle, he never mastered a lot of his lower self nature. So he dealt with some of the same stuff my dad dealt with. But it helped me see it in a different light because I was still able to talk to him, especially after I got older and he got older to the point where we could talk. Now we walk the road and talk every day. And I learned that, as you become a man, bro, and like you said, while you going through this stuff, he ain't had nobody to help him or teach him about the lower self nature. You know what I'm saying? So the stuff that he going through and struggling with, shit, we learning together. Like I'm actually teaching him at this point because I'm past it. Like I'm more disciplined, but I'm helping him see, like, hey, bro, if you do this different, if you think differently about this, you can change your result. And maybe wifey, she'll act she'll respond differently. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, gratefully, just having exposure to more than the family been exposed to. Cause like I said, the family structure was very off. Like it was kind of traumatizing.
So, Cope, I know you got a couple questions just burning your brain. What was your experience? Because I want to tap into the fact that and this is a conversation we've had a lot together, in the role of your father in your life and the way you move around. So, what was your dad's role in your life, if any, or who was the father figure in your life that led you to who you are today?
So the crazy thing is that, like, the way that people see me operate, they would think that I came from like some sort of toxicity because and they think like, I just see 50 explain it. I don't ever want a problem. But if someone wants a problem, that's no problem. So people think that I'm always for the problem. But in my household, my dad was definitely there. And he came from Jamaica, and he wasn't like a millionaire, but he had houses. Like, he had me in private school and everything. And so for me, and what it is that I'm doing with my son, I realized that the way that my dad knew to be a father was to take care of his responsibilities to the best of his ability. And he did that, like, to 100% of his, like, I can look back now, for as much as I would have been mad at any point in time or whatever, he did what he had to do to 100% of his capacity. And for me, when I look at what I do, like him, I do all of that. Like, I make sure, I want to make sure there's a house. I want to make sure that my kid can have things, like I want him to be happy. Even if I'm not necessarily happy, like I want him to make sure that he's happy. And so the thing that I do wish that I would have had from my dad was more of an emotional and spiritual understanding of what he was about to be dealing with a child. Because I look at my son, and had I not been on the path that I went through, I wouldn't have been ready for him. Because, like, my dad is a regular old school hard rock Jamaican, and I asked my mom, like, how is he Fox News centered and like all of this stuff when reggae came from Jamaica? And she had to explain to me that he was Jamaican before reggae. Like, reggae didn't start till the 70s. So he's still like country music Jamaica. He's not Bob Marley Jamaica. So then it all clicked to me that I'm thinking that I'm talking to somebody that I'm not. I was literally mad at my dad for ignoring his roots when I didn't even know that these weren't his roots. I picked up on reggae. So when I look back at what he did for who he was, he did an amazing job. He tried to get me to do great in school. He put me in private school and stuff like that. The only thing he didn't do was deal with my spiritual and emotional side, which is what it is that I'm focusing on my son. Because of my dad, the responsibilities part is easy for me. Like, that's a guarantee. Like, we don't even have to talk about that. Like, fatherhood starts, do that, and then we talk about being a father. So I respect a lot what my father did, because I know how hard that was. Because he came from nothing, no education, no networking. Like, he came up here from England, not even from Jamaica. So he was like twice removed and was able to do what he did. And I didn't respect it when I was a kid, like point blank period. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It's not until I'm an adult that I really understand that, and I talk to other people. I realized that my father really set the groundwork for the future of, like, this legacy. Like, I'm not building my legacy. I'm building on his legacy for our legacy. And my son is fucking ridiculously amazing to the point where it's annoying.
That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
So I really want to dive a little deeper, right? Because earlier I alluded a little bit to inheriting certain traits and certain behaviors. What, if any, were your experiences with your grandfather, right? And I'll really kind of start. For as far as I know, my grandfather, my dad didn't treat and these are based on stories that my dad tells, right? So my dad was pretty much the runt of the litter, right? He was the last to receive schooling. He was the last to, well, technically not last, because I have an uncle that's only 10 years younger than me, but that's a whole nother question, a whole other conversation. But my father really parented in a way that he didn't want to treat his children how he was treated. And so, in some cases, if you felt like you didn't want to do something, he would let you quit. If you felt inclined to do something, he would support you. like he was very multifaceted in the way he raised each one of his children. And I love y'all, but I'll say I'm lucky I also have my mom on the other side, because my mom was the enforcer in the sense of you need to go to school, you need to do these things, because they both saw things differently. Do you believe that your grandfathers had some influence in the way your parents treated you? And Ike, I think this is probably more towards you, right? Because it's generations, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you inherited Ike Senior, Father Ike, through your dad. So
Yeah.
do you want? So I'll start the question back over again. What, if any, was your relationships with your grandfathers at all? And we'll start and we'll go from there.
Bro, my shit is so crazy because my granddad and my grandma, my mom's mom and my dad's dad met, and that's how my mom and dad met. So they had a relationship before my mom and dad actually conceived me. And my grandfather, he was dealing with the streets. So he actually bought, this substance into the family, and it really ruined, like, my granny and her kids, all of them got hooked on this stuff, all that, whatever. But besides that fact, my relationship with my granddad was, he would come through and spoil us. Whenever you come down from New York, I get trampolines, you get new stuff, all kind of stuff. It's a party, you having fun, it's love. But never a relationship. It's always like, I see you, I'm proud of you, got my name. Hey, what you doing? You got girls, what you doing? You got whatever. And then it came to just like kind of left me dry. My granny actually got busted when I was probably about 6, 7 years old. And the family quality of living kind of went down because she was supplying her children too with, the substance. And everybody just didn't have it no more. But just seeing the way my man operated, it instilled something in me to go against the grain and go left. Like bro said, like we rebels. And I feel like the time we in now, you see all that. You see all this rebellion. You see people understanding more. So we know more about our genetics and the people that came before us. But we going against the grain. We making sure that it's time back in. Like, I can't do what he did. I got to be the opposite of how he was and what he did, because he could have been way more than he is. So I respect and admire what he built, but I don't understand why, because he never sat down with me to tell me his story. Whenever we, come together, I try to ask questions and I try to pull that stuff out of my dad and my granddad. But it's such a deep place for them, I guess. It's hard for them to open up and vocalize and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's left me with, some sense of confusion, but gratefully, I do the work on myself so that I can, overstand and fill in the blanks where they left off at. But yeah, man, granddad, not really there, not there for me ever. And I saw him be there for the people he wanted to be there for, cousins and things like that, whatever. So it was confusing for a long time, but as I got older, I kind of realized it's just one of them things that you have to learn from and develop your character around. So, like, whatever I can get, I'm going to go, I'm going to pull up, I'm going to still show love, because I'm trying to get whatever I can so I can put the pieces to my puzzle together. But I can't necessarily hold on to resentment, remorse, grief, sorrow, any of those lower self emotions that tie into the mistakes that you have made. All I got to do is learn from your mistakes and try to become a better man. Because I'm the evolution of you. I'm you, but I'm the greater version. Same thing with the kids. Like bro said, like, you see them. I see my granddad and my kids. I see me in them. I see my dad in them too. So I can't ignore the facts. You know what I'm saying? But
you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to.
I literally watch people do it every day.
Facts. But that's where you devolve. You don't evolve when you choose that. You know what I'm saying? So for us to evolve as a legend, as a legacy, like, I have to like fully embody what and who I am, and he's a part of that. Regardless of how fucked up, some of the decisions he made was, and things like that. But it's great to be in a place where I can talk to him and my dad and not be in my feelings about nothing. Like, I just want information at this point.
Ty, you, any? Okay.
Well, I'll say this while he's reconnecting.
Effect on like his relation.
Start over, Ty. Start over.
Yeah, your joint went out. It went out.
Okay, my fault. All right, my fault. Like on my mother's side, like I think like looking on it and seeing two grandfathers. Well, actually, I'll do my dad's side a little bit easier. Like so, his side, he had a great father. He always talked about his father. You know what I mean? It kind of was that trickle down thing. Like I see how he was a great father for me, and then he also had a great father. So you know what I mean? It's like, that's something that he learned from his father. And I can honestly say I'm the father I am today because I had a great father and a great model to look at. You know what I mean? And I seen what he did, I seen what mistakes he had made, and I'm trying to better it. His mistakes I would say were probably like, working too much and but I also, now that I'm older, I understand that he was working too much because he was providing. Like I didn't, when I hit like middle school, I didn't, I had my own room. You know what I mean? I had mind you, this is the first time. But like, we bought our first house. I got my own room. I had quads in the garage. You know what I mean? I could go out there and ride. You know what I mean? It's like, it was at what cost? Like now, as I'm older, I'm like, I wish he would have made it to a couple more football games. Like, I'll trade the quad in for him to, come to all my football games in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So it's that. But I say all that to say, he had a great father. Yeah, he had a great father, and that trickled down. And then on my mother's side, it's weird because like he had all girls. So her father had all girls. So like it's weird to like kind of look at.
He was getting to a good part too.
Yeah.
That's all good.
My back.
Yep, you're back. Yep, you're back.
He had all girls.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so he had all girls. So it's weird to kind of look at and see how his relationships were, and most of his relationships were like powered by money and financials. So like he's very controlling, and like that's how his relationships were. Like he showed love through money and having that control over women. And like it was always weird to see my father interact with my mother's father, and like he was like, no, like he's like a man's man, and he understood that if you borrowed money from him, he would use that as a controlling factor. So that was something he taught me growing up, and like now that I'm older, I do see it. You know what I mean? It's like my grandfather has a better relationship with the mother of my child, who I'm not even with, than he does me. You know what I mean? Because she's okay with receiving from him. And like I'm not sure if it's a bad thing, but one of the things I learned from my father is like, yo, I'm a man. I don't need your money. I don't need anything from you. You can't have that control over me because I'm a man. I could do everything. I can do it on my own. I can take care of it. I'm not gonna have so much toxic masculinity where I'm gonna, die of starvation before I ask you for help. Like I'm okay with asking, but I got this. I don't need it. So you don't. So he never had any power over me. I have cousins who beg him for money now. At any chance, but I was always the one he could never have no power over. So once he got that relationship, now I had Journey, and now he has somebody who he can he got. I think he fills that little void that he's missing with me through her. So they talk. I don't even talk to him. So it's like weird to see how different people have different relationships, and what fuels the relationship. His is fueled by money and power. He thinks that that's his controlling thing. But
you were getting to something, Copeland?
No, I was actually going to agree a lot with what Trillo was saying, but I almost forgot what he was saying because I was listening to what Ty was saying. But
I grew up,
no,
bro, saying,
my grandfather, I didn't have much of a relationship with my grandfather because I didn't see him a lot. Well, at least not the one on my dad's side. I saw my grandfather on my mom's side a lot more. And, you know, he was a typical island cutlass beating you with, like, type of person. My dad's father,
God, nice
who I
folks.
didn't get as much, like, time with, actually, was not even his biological father, but he seemed to be like more who I am. And I think that it's almost like they talk about this, the way how, you know, strong men make good times and good times make weak men and weak men make bad times and all of that. It's like, I think that that's true to a degree, but I think that that's what happens when you don't really pay attention to the facts and really are trying to evolve. Because I'm in a state right now where, you know, my life is kind of hard, but I did have a hard-working father. So just because it's hard, it's never stopped me. It's just been fucking uncomfortable, you know. And like you were saying, Ty, I can do with the help, you know. But if I don't get the help, that doesn't mean it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So sometimes I have taken that role where I'm not going to take the help simply because I don't need to talk to you after this about anything. But I did,
Right.
like I said, my grandfather, though, was he was the type of person I think I would have been had I grew up on an island and not had to deal with, you know, the society that I dealt with. Kind of turned me into more of a revolutionary than, you know, I would be the old guy sitting at the street that everybody's kids would come to and talk to. So I think that it's, you have to be really conscious about what it is that you're looking to grow from and grow your children into. Because if you're not, they're going to be picking up things in preparation. Like, I really want my son to grow up like you, Ty. Like, I want him to say, I want to do exactly what my dad did. Like, I don't want to create any traumas by accident that he's now going to have to react to and try to make not happen, because even in that energy, other things can happen. Yeah. So I'm trying to be as conscious as I can with him, and Lord knows that shit is hard, because I have to check myself a lot. Because he says the same thing that adults say to me, and I just have to remind myself that he is a child. He's allowed to be childish. You know? He actually is a child.
Can I pat y'all on the back too, bro? Just for I ain't gonna cut you. I just want to interject.
No, please.
Just for studying intention, bro. I admire what both of y'all, you and Ty, said, bro. Like, I feel like our generation, we study intention. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you judge a man. You judge any person based on intention. I admire both of y'all.
I appreciate it.
So I want to
I appreciate it.
So I want to take things in a different direction as well. You know, one of the things that we tend to, and we alluded to it earlier, right, is it does take a village to raise children. As Black men, what role does the uncle have in helping raise your children, right? You know, Ty, Copeland, we're both in the fraternity with a bazillion brothers, right? But they're really a small circle of men that we typically keep around us, and including you, Trilla, right? We all keep a small circle of people around us that we know that will have your family's best interest. How important are the uncles in the rearing of our children?
Critical. My cousin, he like my brother, my first cousin. He just taught King how to ride his bike, bro. King 6. I missed the first. I was stay-at-home dad for the first 6 months of King's life, and my queen, she worked. She taught school, preschool, and after I was stay-at-home dad, she decided she didn't want to do that no more, and they didn't even call her to come back the next year to the school anyway. So I done put in hundreds of applications. I decided I'm going to go to truck driving school, but I'm on the road for like 3 years, so I missed from age 1 to 3. I missed a lot of time because I was on the road trucking. You feel what I'm saying?
Already know.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I saw the significant underdevelopment of masculinity in my firstborn son. You feel me? And you just, that shit hit me on the level like, okay, bro, what do we do? What can we do? But yeah, to answer the question, bro, brothers, the people who are like your spiritual brothers, they ain't gotta be family. Them the uncles, and they mean a whole lot, bro. Cause some days you just don't have it. And if bro there and he got it, he had that ashe, and the day might end up being a great day, and it started out terrible. But
Yeah.
but it's lying. Go ahead. I ain't gonna get into it too deep. Go ahead.
No,
Oh man, nah, get deep, bro. Get deep. This is what we're
I'm gonna go there. Like I'm gonna go there. So
I mean, just keep in mind this is a safe space, right? We want everybody to feel like get it off your chest, bro. Say it with your chest. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me say this to you, my brother, because we did have a conversation, and the thing that we're looking to do here is we're looking to show the different aspects of man. And most people don't ever understand how deeply black men think about and feel about our children. And you think deeply about fucking rocks, like what other people.
Yeah.
I know what's up with it. So,
the phone literally leaning on a rock right now. All right, so
for that, like this is exact because that's it. Because the less you say, I'm gonna say it. So I'd rather you like. I love that shit.
All right, so where I was gonna take it, like I said, the line of balance is like you got people in your family or even your homeboy, like your brothers, that help you with your children or they play a significant role in the children's lives. A lot of them got trauma. A lot of them been molested. A lot of them been abused and neglected, and they still carry those traits unknowingly. Some of them, and then think about how hard it is to communicate to a person that they need work, especially a man. You can't tell a man that he need to work on himself because it's like, nigga, I'm doing all this other stuff. When do I find time to work on myself, bro? Like, so the most important aspect of it, I feel, is leading by example. Like, I go above and beyond to make sure I got my mental health and my spiritual health fulfilled and balanced so that I can show these boys how to do it rather than me saying, hey, bro, go do this, do this, do that. Like, just watch me. I'm gonna post a video about it. I'm gonna talk about it after I finish doing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we didn't have examples, and that's why it's so hard for us to figure out how to get it right and find our balance. Now we tapping into finding our balance, and situations like this is allowing us to bring on others, and that's gonna help us become even more balanced because we are evolving and ascending together.
So I was gonna swing it over the top. Listen,
he's so his frequency's so high, bro.
The phone can't even keep up.
He got his phone inside of a crystal geode right now. I don't think that we caught it the way that he did it because he was like, "Look, y'all all know what this is, right?" No, he has it, that looks like an amethyst crystal geode, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Like, give a full picture of it, like. Take it back it up and show us the full thing.
Which one?
The one that the phone is sitting on.
Oh, bet. Check this out. So this is actually a fluorite. It's a big ass piece of fluorite. Yeah, it's good for like EMF protection and actually mental stability, bro. Balancing the mind and shit. You know what I'm
saying? Okay. So before you drop, Ty, we was gonna switch over to you to really talk about the importance of uncles, right? The support that you get when you lean on your brothers. And once again, a lot of the times they're not blood brothers, right? Or the figures in which we put into that uncle state. Because I know how many times you're like, this is Uncle H, this is Uncle Paige, this is Uncle Dre, right? And she sees everybody as Uncle such and such. How important was that for you in raising Journey?
It was very important, especially like most of the uncles were probably fathers before I was. So like, I'm the type of person, like I'll tell anybody, I'm like, yo, you have to pay attention to your surroundings, right? So you see all of these people who are great fathers around you, right? And me being in a frat, I'm around a whole bunch of black men who are great fathers, because like, you know, it's like a big, I ain't want to curse. It's like a big accountability group. You know, when you're going through it, like you really can't be a bad father and be the bros. And then like, you know, you come back and, you know, it's just like one of those things that just don't fit well. So, you know, I'll take a look at everybody and like how they do certain things. And I'm like, yo, you get so many examples of great fathers. It's like, yo, you can kind of pick and choose from them and build your own perfect father who you want to be. You can see like, oh, I like the way he did this, or I like the way he did that. I don't like that. You don't have to add that. You know what I mean? If there's things that you do like, you know, you add that to your fatherhood, and you can kind of build the best father that you can be. So uncles are very important. I got H right here with his little one. You know what I mean? Like sorry for him crying, you know, but they were out at the cookout. But you know, so like it's important for you fine. It's important for me to be, you know, an uncle for him, and you know, an uncle for everybody else. And it's like my Neo little Todd. We were in college when he had his first one. You know, he would have class. He would call me like, "Yo, DP, I need you to watch Little Teach." Like, yo, drop him off, because I was in grad school at this time, so my classes were different than his. Mine were all at night, so I'm like, yeah, I'll watch him. Like, you know what I mean? Just drop him off. I'll watch him. It's not an issue. You know what I mean? So like, they're very important, and thank God we're in a frat. Like, you know what I mean? So you got like this abundance of uncles. You know what I mean? Like, and she's a good child, so she'll go with anybody. She'll be like, yeah, all right. If you said they good, I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's very important. And like I said, more so important, like you can get a whole bunch of examples of good fathers, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to, you know, mold your fatherhood, I guess, experience to be. You know what I mean? And you know, and build the perfect father. It's like building a 2K, dude. If you look at, everybody, yeah, you looking at all of these fathers, like, I want to add that attribute. All right, I want to add that attribute. You know what I mean? I don't need that. You know what I mean? That don't fit well with me. Yeah, but I want to add that, and I want to add that. So you know what I mean? It's one of those things, like they're very, very important, because like, it's like examples, like, they've been through it
so,
already.
so you have the all-star 2K avatar, and as your dad avatar. So
Yeah, of course.
you shooting threes from like
I,
football
I
fields
done built
away.
stuff. Yeah, I built Steph Curry times 3. You know what I mean?
Run it. Nah, bro, I never thought about it like that. That's gangster.
So I
Yeah,
want to
man.
I want to take and you bring up a good point, right? Um, having your children, right? How did having a child change you guys? And the only reason I'm asking this question is I know two of you prior to children. And then I heard stories about you, Trilla, prior to children. So you guys kind of talked about the fathers or the father figures that were in your life. Talked about your grandfathers, right? And their experiences. You talked about the uncles, how you were able to kind of piecemeal the different pieces of the amazing people around you guys. Um, Going into fatherhood, what were your initial thoughts, right? Ike, you're on child number 3, right? Or 4?
Yeah. We got
3.
3 now. Boys.
Ty is 1. Copeland is 1. I'm still on 0. Pull out game on point right now, right?
Taught it. Pull out God.
But let's talk about it, right? Going into it, right? You first heard about it, and Ty, you mentioned you're not with your child's mother. Copeland, you're not with your child's mother, and Trilla, you're still with your child's mother, right? Your children's mother. Going into it, your first child, what was the first thoughts going through your minds? Because of the two I know, y'all were living your best lives, right?
You want to know the truth of the matter is, the first thought that came to my mind was, this is going to be easy. Because I had the same experience where a lot of people around me had kids. My brothers had kids, and I've always been really good. I've always been way better with kids than adults, and I knew that meant something. So I never let it go, because I'm still better with kids than I am with adults today. So my first thought was, this is going to be easy. And my second thought was, like, I know a lot of people. right? So me thinking it's going to be easy, I'm like, they're thinking it's going to be easy too, and they're just going to fall in line, community, whatever. What actually happened was none of them thought it was going to be easy, and so they had all the stresses while I'm sitting here like, they're like, are you scared? And I'm like, scared of what? A child? My child? I lived for this. Like, now maybe the anxiety before a basketball game, but I put in the work. I know I can hit the shot. But everybody else, I don't present that way always. So there was a lot of stresses around me. And then, as what normally happens in my life, like here I am 2 years later, and for the most part, at least when it comes to him and everything that he needs, everything's all right. And I was saying everything's gonna be all right. And so what my son did for me was basically just change my focus, because I've always been a force of nature, like wherever I go and in whatever I do. But I never really had, my focus was always worldwide. So there was never a real focus. I was able to do and be all over the place. I wanted to do massage, open up a birthing center. I fuck with crystals and shit like that. And these, like, because I knew what the community needed. But now with him, it's not easy, but it was simple. I just have to focus on making sure that he's taken care of and the things that he needs. And all of the things that I was working on for the community, I can now focus on towards him. I had my son at home. So I worked with a midwife and a doula to have my son. I'm going to be homeschooling my son. I've actually, like, me and his mom are actually friends now. Some stuff happened. So now she is living here with me. Like when it came time, like, you may not be my girl, but it's still a responsibility to my son's mom through him. And so it's simple. It's not easy because there's still other facets that you have to deal with. Like for me with business, I have to deal with other adult human beings. So there's a lot of things, but I think that the main thing that bothered me the most was that as a father, we don't really have the emotional support or emotional understanding to understand where we are emotionally and maybe feed off of that. Like the San Antonio Spurs fed off of Tim Duncan, basically, being relaxed and being poised or whatever. Kevin Garnett's teams, even that Boston Celtics teams, were teams he went and he was lighting fires under everybody, even Big Baby, to the point where Baby's crying, Yeah. And Kevin Garnett's my favorite player, but still, as a man in the family, we are always more like Tim Duncan for the most part. We have our Kevin Garnett side, and sometimes it's a painful feeling when you know that you've got something, but other people are stressing over it and trying to force you to move to accommodate their stresses, because then that throws off your game plan. But, we don't talk about it often enough, and it's not understood. But then later on down the line, for most of us, I believe, people see, because we have a greater purpose that's going to keep us on a certain line. So eventually, we're going to get where we got to get to, and they're going to see, and then it's all the sorries, and I believe in you, but it hurts. And
so let me ask you a question. So having known you for a long time, and there's this, your reputation supersedes you a lot of the times. And I think your relationship with children sometimes made you seem more like a child to some people, or your. So let me take a couple of steps back.
No, but first you have to say that that's the actual truth. Is that
right? Your reputation does supersede you.
No, not that. That people would think that I seem more like a child, because we have to dig into the fact that children are actually smarter than adults, even though adults don't respect children. And so that is actually what it is that I deal with adults. is that I'm usually smarter than they are because I'm a visionary, that they don't respect me because it doesn't fit into their paradigm.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah, but I want you to keep going though.
Oh no, that's kind of where I was going with it. Was
my bad.
Because the way they saw you, they automatically assumed that you may not have been fit to be a dad at the time that you became a dad, which is why you saw maybe some of the naysayers or maybe the lack of support. But that would be, in my opinion, more of a reason to provide the emotional support, more of a reason to provide the, just this teachings of, hey, Cope, you might want to look into this. But knowing Copeland, he probably would tell him like, F you, I'm gonna do it my way anyway, right?
But
So
it depends on whether you're actually giving me support or
Mhm.
are you trying to change my mind to go along a path that you think is proper. Because I have, and I'm very articulate, which is what upsets me a lot of times. I will tell you exactly what it is that I'm trying to do. Like if I'm telling you that I'm going to have my child at home and you're going to tell me, well, you know that that's dangerous. Like, why would you want to have it in a hospital? Yes, my response is going to be, listen, fuck you now. I'm going to go do it myself. But when I told my mentor, who's like a Kijang master, I told him that I wanted to have my child at home. He was like, all right, cool. There's this lady named Debbie Allen. I'm going to give you 2 more options in a couple of days to go and look at. And by the time I hit him again, he was like, yeah, like you still, I had already called and set an appointment with Debbie Allen. So now if you are going to truly support me, not support your vision of what you think I should be doing, but if you're actually going to support me, anybody who has knows that I take advice very well as long as it's going along my path. But don't try to divert me because you're afraid of where I'm going. I'm built for that. So if you don't believe that, then that's fine. But don't. At that point, I'm not taking your advice. But if you understand that I'm built for that, the advice you're going to give me is going to push me down that path, and then I'm going to listen. But I'm not going to listen to, well, maybe you should look. No, listen. I've looked. And the numbers actually say that women die more on an obstetrician's table than they do with a midwife. The numbers say that. I've looked.
And that's I attest to that too. I ain't want to cut you off at all.
No. I want you go because I see
Bro,
you got it.
We had two unassisted home births at the house, just me and the queen, and it's the most powerful, most beautiful thing you gonna ever do. Like this is my most proud accomplishment of all. Like all the other stuff I be talking about, I do that's minuscule to me. Besides catching them boys and looking them in their eyes and seeing like we got a divine connection. Like bro, I will yawn, and my son will yawn while he sleep. I sneeze and I hear him in the other room sneeze and he sleep. You feel what I'm saying? I've caught this literally with I focus, but like same thing just to add to what bro said. We believe that the children are the ancestors reincarnated. So your child is literally your great grandma or your great granddaddy or your great somebody coming back to teach you something and allow you to provide what they provided for you on the back end. And you learn so much about yourself from your children because they are, they're the parts of you that you have to master. You know what I'm saying? So you got them here now manifested into this physical realm so that you can see yourself in a way that you've never seen yourself before. And they challenge you in so many ways and they allow you to become a better man if you let them. If you don't, you break. You know what I'm saying? And you have to go back to the drawing board once you make your mistakes or you get caught up in your vices or whatever, which is what we struggle with the most here in this country as black males.
So but before you continue, Cope, I just want to reiterate the question, right? So, your first child, how did that change you? Or what was your initial reaction? Because, I don't have a child yet and I don't know what that reaction would be. But,
love.
So I almost felt how you guys are feeling or felt, right? And one of the things that I think a lot of times we don't talk about is miscarriages, right? Especially if it's almost a term and you are excited, right? So I guess my biggest question is, when you realize this being
Did you
was coming into
did
this
you
world.
did you listen to my
Let me share this
podcast?
game.
Because I was gonna share, but since you're like pulling it out of me, I mean,
Hey,
No, talk
I'll
about it,
go
bro.
ahead and tap. I'll
Talk
tap
about
in.
it.
So
Tap
me,
in, tap in.
my daughter, my first experience with her is completely like not there. Like, so me and the mother of my child had a miscarriage, but during this pregnancy, I would say it was probably around like 2 to 3 months. So it wasn't a crazy amount of time. But right when I first heard, me, it's the first one I told everybody. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm about to have a baby. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, man, and like my personality, and people like, oh, people like they mess with me. They you know what I mean? I developed good relationships, my personality. So they're like, yeah, bruh. After that, you got to go back and you got to have that talk where you're like, yeah, it's not there.
Every
That
bro.
part.
It is depressing. And then right when it first happened, like I shut down and like I didn't know what that looked like for her because I wasn't there for her at all. Like even like now I'm older, I understand that like damn, like the mother of my child really had a miscarriage and I'm mentally, physically, and emotionally was not there for her because I was completely messed up mentally. Like I was hurt. I felt like a failure. You know what I mean? Like damn, I felt too. Like damn, what went wrong? Like like what? Like and it was like I just shut down. Like we'll be laying in the same bed, and I am not touching her. I'm facing the wall, just like what the hell is like what did I like in my own head? Just so far gone, so far removed. So then we find out we're pregnant again, and I think I told my mother and my father. I didn't tell a soul. Like
Bro.
when my daughter like so I'm like just not I'm like going through the process, but I'm not in the process because I don't want to be hurt again. Like I do not want to feel what I felt already.
It's
So like
traumatizing.
I'm just like, yo, traumatized. So I'm just like going through it and I'm going through the motions. I'm not making every appointment. Like, you know what I mean? When I'm not at work, I'll show up. You know what I mean? But if I got work, I'm going to work. Like, cause I'm like, who knows if this is, you know what I mean, gonna make it all the way through. And it's like now that I'm older and more mature, I'm like, yo, that state is like, wow, like that was a terrible thing. But that's where I was at with it. And so like when my daughter finally came, click, like literally, like click, boom, father of the fucking year. This is part of my friends. But the father of the year, I'm all in, I'm doing everything. And then like from her perspective, it really messed her up from going through the pregnancy, feeling like I wasn't there. And then our daughter finally coming, and now you're the father of the year and everybody's praising you. And so like she felt some type of way, towards me. And like after that podcast that I did, like we had a small talk and she's like, yeah, I really felt some type of way. Like you weren't there. Then all of a sudden Journey came and you're a father of the year. It was like, that's always been in me, but like it got shut down. Yeah, because I couldn't tap into it. I tapped into it the first time and it was like a swing and a miss. It's like, I don't want to swing and miss again. You know what I mean? So like now that my daughter's here, like I'm all in, and it's like, yo, it changed me as a person. Like, if you want to go, like it didn't change me until she was actually born.
And
You know what I mean? And now it's just like it.
Now that you mentioned it, right? I don't think men talk about how these things impact them.
Facts.
Right.
Right.
And it's almost like, one, we don't have a space to unpack it. Right.
Yeah.
Two, it's kind of hard to like see something that you're getting ready to create just stop and not just exist, right? Like, and also not realizing how common it is, right? Its commonality doesn't reduce the fact that it's draining on both sides.
Can I add right there?
Mm-hmm.
That's trauma. That's like us about to get a job. Think about how many jobs we done dealt with where you know you got it, then they just shut you down. Get out of here, bro. You thought you had it. You thought you had it. You ain't got it. We go through that so much as melanated men, and I just want to share with the listeners, with the people, bro. This thing is sacred. Your creations are sacred. You don't speak on them. You don't post that. You don't tell everybody that. You don't need to know my mama name. You don't need to know that we pregnant. You don't like this Key Cyrus, our baby. People hit me up like, is he here? What happened? I know y'all had a baby coming, whatever. But I'm like, bro, I can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? He's too pure, he's too joy, he's too light. So to everybody listening, everybody watching, keep your stuff sacred, man. Keep these people out of your matrix, because a lot of people don't care for you. It's no love for you. They're not really happy for you. Like, some of these people feeding off the energy of your joy and this beautiful being that they looking at, and you know, they turn around and go cry at night, or whether it's the people who wishing bad on you, or it's just the people who going through their own personal stuff. These people don't understand themselves on a level to process and deal with energy in a graceful way. So the energy that they putting out, you affected by it unconsciously through that internet as it processes through all these antennas, channels, and phones and all that. I ain't gonna go too deep into that, but I just wanted to advise people, man, like, keep your sacred stuff sacred, because we also had 3 miscarriages, and it's 2 babies in the garden right now that we actually before we had Key Cyrus, she conceived twice, and the children had developed at least enough to get into like the 8-week, 9-week phase, to where we ended up actually having to plant feces, whatever. But yeah, man, take my advice on that one for sure. You'll save yourself a lot of hurt. You know what I'm saying? We've been through it too.
So, Cope, you got any questions for the gentleman before we wrap up? Because I want to kind of wrap up in a positive note.
Yes, I do. Actually, this is real cool. But something that I was thinking about, because I know Father's Day, and I'll be honest, because this is going to tie in. I had no idea Father's Day was tomorrow. I plan to work, and I'm going to work, but still, yeah, I had no idea. So the question is, and I think that the listeners would love to know, as a father, right? People always act like they don't know what to get us. So if Zales was having a special for fathers, what piece would you want them to have on sale for us?
A watch or a gold chain? Because just a plain gold chain, because gold ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'll take a plain gold chain or a watch, a nice watch, a nice plain watch. Yeah, something that, 10 years from now is going to, develop and be worth more than it was. Anything that's going to appreciate over time, I'll take.
And y'all know Trilla got that whole, custom jewelry out there. So,
yeah, he's gonna make me a piece eventually. He knows it. It's
check Trilla's Etsy to get your dads some dope jewelry, some dope stones to kind of maintain that chakra for the fathers, because they need the energy as much as the moms do. And plus, and I think to Copeland's point, stop getting them ties and cupcakes. I know Ty might like a cupcake or two, but because the memes have been going around, hey, it's Father's Day this year. We need to kill these BS gifts. But Trilla, what would your ideal Father's Day gift be?
Man, from Zales or just in general?
Just in general. I think Copeland's throwing Zales in there because that's pretty much, the Mother's Day.
Let's get some sponsorships and let's get a sale next year.
You know what I mean? Let's talk about Jacobs, or let's talk about Tom Ford. Let's talk about, some of our brothers' brands and stuff like, or maybe we could get a Revolt sponsorship or something like that. Black businesses matter.
Bro, we King's Treasure, man. On Etsy, type in, go etsy.com/King's Treasure LLC. You'll see us /shops/King's Treasure LLC. You'll see us. But yeah, man, time. Just give me time. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything gets better with time. If you give me time, I will come out with something beautiful. Like, I'm a creator, I'm an artist. All I need is time. And the thing that people don't realize, if you know how to make beauty out of chaos, you become magnificent. You become a guru, genius, whatever it is you choose. Like, my son was just crying at the door just now. You feel me? Like, it's nonstop, back to back. It ain't beautiful, but it ends up being beautiful once you learn how to navigate through the waters. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful, bro, like, for everything. So whenever you face those obstacles and you get challenged, look for your lessons and find gratitude. Like, present yourself gratefully, and you'll be rewarded for that.
So I wanna thank you all for really chiming in today, taking some time out your day today. You guys dropped a lot of gems early on in the episode.
Yes, we are looking for gifts. Bracelets, PS5s work with Spider-Man because that's the only reason people want them.
Okay.
King's Treasures. I take custom-made jewelry. I have a regular size wrist. Regular ass wrist.
Okay. He's 6'11", but wears a regular size wrist. I don't know how that works. But with that being said, if everyone could take a chance to give new fathers maybe 3 tips, I just go around the table, and just kind of 3 tips as a new father to kind of help them get to a place of sanity, because the show is about mental wellness, especially for the men. And a lot of times we feel as though that we don't have the support. And I think, mentioned earlier, right? We don't have the emotional support that we feel like we would need to have to be a great father. So for each one of you, or, as a total, 3 tips to leave future fathers on, maybe kind of how you saw your success, or how you think things can be easier for them. I mean, it's not going to be easier, but simpler, like Copeland put.
Learn it.
No, go ahead. I'll wait.
What up? Before you go, Trilla, Ty, you sure you won't wait for him to go first? Or
I can go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this one, and I'm gonna use this opportunity to go first, because I don't got time. He gonna, it might come out. You gotta pray to the ancestors every Thursday night, and trust me, you'll get blessed every Wednesday. You know what I mean? I don't got time. Like, I don't got the answers like that, Slay.
Respect. I study a lot.
But no,
I study a lot.
For one, I already said, kind of pay attention to your surroundings. Like, pick and choose things that your father did with you that you liked, and you other fathers around you, kind of just pay attention. You got answers all around you. You just got to kind of look for them, and stop being hard-headed, and open your eyes. And that's just be patient. Like mistakes happen, things happen. It's going to be a roller coaster. Like, just be patient. They're growing. They're learning. Like I said, mistakes are going to happen. And what number 3? Number 3. Be open-minded. Reach out to people. You have any questions? Don't be afraid. To ask, and be humble. And ask. Like, if you don't know something, ask. Use your resources. Don't let all your resources go to waste. Like I said, everything is around you. You just got to be able to humble yourself and actually use it. So that'll be my 3.
I'm gonna go next because I don't want Trilla to steal any of mine, because I don't really have time. It was hard to go.
Bro, I might not even go, bro.
I don't even care. Why risk it? You know what I mean? No risk it, no biscuit, not this time. So check down. You know what I mean? Now, the first thing that I would say is, to every father, like, love your kids and don't be ashamed of it. Like, love the fuck out of them. They're not gonna get that anywhere else. It's okay to love them, and to repress the love for any reason at all that's only gonna add to stresses that you had. Let that shit out. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make what you need to do easier. And it's going to make what you have to do with them easier. Love the fuck out of your kids. And also, the second one is to find a community and a circle that you can express your hurt and your pains and your stresses. Like, do not keep that shit bottled in, because at the end of the day, the shit that you're going through, I'm going through it too. We may be going through it differently, it may be looking different, it may be expressed differently, but, you know, like, I'm going through that too. And, damn, I had a third one. Fuck. I was trying to avoid this. Oh, the third one. Enjoy the shit. Enjoy your kids. Have fun with them. Like, have fun with them having fun. Like, enjoy them having fun. Like, if you could hear him now, he's like yelling and screaming right there. I know he's having fun. It makes me happy. Like, it's okay to enjoy that. You do not have to give them micro doses of the bullshit in the world. That's a fallacy. Fill them with love and enjoyment and joy, and they'll be able to deal with it, I promise you. They're gonna cry. They're gonna cry still, but you don't have to prepare them for that. They're gonna cry regardless. So enjoy the fuck out of the journey. If you do all of that, I mean, shit's still gonna be hard, but you'll know for a fact that you're gonna find places of joy. Like, you know, like I have a place like this where I can express some of my stresses. I love the fuck out of that little kid, like more than anything I've ever loved before. And I'm trying my hardest, you know, I'm at least acknowledging when I'm not enjoying life, so that I can make sure to enjoy him and enjoy making him happy.
Dope. Trilla.
I agree with what both of these bros said. Like, they gave some great advice. I say get you a journal. You know what I'm saying? So you can get a lot of that stuff out your head and write about it. You can also see the patterns of how we go through a lot of the same things at the same time of year as individuals, and you be feeling the same ways, and you get to see how cyclic it is. Everything works in cycles. Get you a journal. Study intentions and learn your ancestors, learn about your elders and the people who came before you and what they did, how they thought, the mistakes they made, so that you can teach your children, and it'll help you become better as a man and as a person, so that you don't make some of the same mistakes they did. And then 3, learn to truly love yourself and not abuse your power. Like, you the leader of the family, you the leader of the tribe. If you watch ducks cross the road, you see the father duck is in the back, mama in the front. So, and that is because mama don't need to be looking back, worried about the bills or the past or something coming back to hunt us. So you lead from behind, and you can see what's going on around us. You can let mama know, stay focused. This is the direction we're going in. So you want to be calculated, you want to be disciplined, you want to take your time and, you know, act from love.
Awesome. And last but not least, how do you maintain your peace?
Nature and breath work, yoga, biking, inner child work.
Ty?
Exercise for sure, and Call of Duty.
Spread the blood clot.
Exercise in Warzone. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Those, you know, they hold me down. Exercise in Warzone.
That's gangster.
Cool.
Yes, I.
The earth.
Oh, bro, I forgot. Yeah, shrooms too. Yeah, the psychedelics. Like, I'm not. You know, I ain't trying to encourage, because it ain't for everybody, but they have helped me with some deep explorations. You know what I'm saying? Like, real deep inner work. Me and my queen.
We might have to work on a retreat where we get all the fathers together, and we go some remote country, maybe Amsterdam, maybe
California.
not.
California.
I'm talking about stamps. I'm trying to do stamps here. You got to realize I also do Travel Tuesday happy hour, so I'm trying to get stamps. But no, so this was definitely an amazing conversation. I appreciate all you gentlemen for sharing and being willing to be vulnerable and showing a different side of men, that we are loving, that we are we have genuine intentions to care for our family, and we care about the things that go on around us. And we will continue to push the envelope, have these conversations on a monthly basis. So if you guys ever want to come back for another topic, please feel free and tap in. With that being said, I want to remind you all once again, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, click that notification bell so you guys know when new episodes drop. With that said, stay safe, be mindful, maintain your peace. Peace.
Peace.